Is Wuthering Waves content creation dying? Now hopefully there's a lot of you guys that actually understand basic English and know that I'm actually asking a question rather than making a statement. This is a sentiment that's been kind of passed around in the community, especially just in gacha in general, not even just Wuthering Waves. And I just wanted to make a video kind of talking about it and kind of talking about the overall kind of stuff that's going on in the gacha community and where we're starting to see some of the stuff that we're starting to see whenever it comes to content creation and content creators falling off and also rising up. Because there's been a couple of things that I've seen, especially directed towards me, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I just kind of wanted to talk about the overall state of Wuthering Waves content creation and the overall state of gacha content creation in general. But before I get to this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and also go to my Twitch where I'm going to be streaming live. I definitely recommend going over there and giving it a follow, because then you'll know as soon as I go live, we're streaming a ton of Wuthering Waves stuff and also reaction stuff to do with Wuthering Waves and other gacha games. So yeah, go over there, check it out, and I'll see you guys over there. Let's get back into the video. So one of the main things that actually made me, decide to make this video was that I was watching VXV Fiction stream, which again, if you didn't know, if you've been in V's chat or something like that, then you probably know that I do like to watch V streams because, again, I just find them overly interesting and it's, good second monitor content for me just to, kind of give it a watch. And I like him, we're cool. But just whenever I was casually minding my own business, watching a stream, having a bit of fun, this person kind of replies to me and says, Kazahana, stand your ground, which side are you on, H Company or Kuro Bro? And if you don't know what that means, then H Company means Hoyoverse, and then obviously, yeah, Kuro Games for Kuro. Which, again, I found kind of interesting, and now this is only a small screenshot that, divulged into a massive conversation, which V also got involved in on his stream, which again was absolutely crazy, and also a lot of the chat was, and they all just kind of backed me up, which was great. But it did kind of make me think that a lot of people do actually think about this in the community, in like the sense of which side are you on, making it so black and white for a lot of content creators, and making it so black and white for themselves as well. Because there's been this whole thing of Hoyoverse versus Kuro Games, which again, I don't think is the end of the world. I think that you can compare the games. I think you can compare Wuthering Waves and Hoyoverse without making it too much of a competition. But to make it like you can't make content on one or you can't make content on another, because what this person was trying to say was that I was making too much content on Hoyoverse and that I was pointing out a lot of the negatives of Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves, which, if you don't know, is something that I do on this channel quite a bit. I do like to, glaze Wuthering Waves quite a bit, and I do totally understand that. But I'm also not, blind to the fact that there are some kind of issues in the game which do need to be fixed, and I point them out in some of my other videos. But this person seems to take those more negative videos as like, I hate Kuro Games or something, and that I love Hoyoverse, which just isn't the case. I think everybody and every single content creator needs to understand that, is that you can talk about your favorite game or the game that you make, content on negatively. You can make content on it saying that, hey, I don't like this feature in it, or I don't like this in it. It's not saying that you think the game's bad overall. I never say anything along the lines of Wuthering Waves is bad or that I prefer, Genshin Impact or anything like that. I just kind of make videos pointing out the flaws in some of the, kind of features in the game so that hopefully they can be improved. And that's my main kind of takeaway from that. I want the game to improve. I don't want, the game to die or anything like that. It's not like that. And there's been many cases of people making videos like that saying that they want the game just to end, which is absolutely crazy. But I do think that, making videos pointing out the issues in the game is a good thing. And obviously they go on to say sometimes you say wuwa is great and then sometimes you say they're bad. I don't say that the game overall is good or bad. I just say a feature in the game is good or bad. Which, again, I think this person was just going a little bit crazy in the chat. Don't go send any hate over to them or whatever. I don't think that their account even exists on Twitch anymore, so you can't really do that. But again, it was kind of crazy, and it did make me think about the overall state of Wuthering Waves and their content creator program, because it seems like there are a lot of creators out there that are very black and white whenever it comes to Hoyoverse and Kuro Games, but also there's been many creators that are very transparent and, can point out whenever their game does something bad. Now, there isn't any particular creator out there that, kind of glazes them too hard or doesn't glaze them too hard. I don't think that, it's an issue. I think people can make whatever content they want, and I don't really care if you like Wuthering Waves or you like Genshin Impact or you like Honkai Star Rail. It doesn't really matter to me. But whenever people start critiquing my content and telling me what kind of side I should be on and stuff like that, I just think it's kind of stupid that people are just taking sides. We should be playing whatever you enjoy or whatever you find good. And one good example of this, and creators just being in a good space, is the podcast I did the other day. There was a podcast that Captain Cabinets actually ran, and it featured a ton of content creators. Obviously, you've got Atoma, Ryuku, Rednu, Amethyst, Saint, Connor, and also Ethan. And it was a really, really good talk, and there was a lot of talk about, Honkai Star Rail as well as Wuthering Waves, and we talked about, the good and bad things about each of them, and I think that was a very, very good conversation, and it definitely wasn't biased in any way. I don't think there was any kind of like, oh, we like this game more than this one. We all just had a good chat about what we liked and what we didn't like. Obviously, some people had differing opinions, like obviously Ryuku doesn't like Honkai Star Rail as much, whereas some other people might do, and I think that's totally okay. And I think people need to understand that people have different opinions whenever it comes to gacha games, and the overall kind of stuff about that. Obviously, yeah, Ryuka made a video about Honkai Star Rail being bad, and actually did pretty decently, and I do think that, you know, a lot of people can understand the fact that, you know, people just have an opinion about a game or even agree with them. Now, I did want to go over another sentiment which is kind of crossed over in the Wuthering Waves community, which is a lot of people saying that the game's EOS or something like that, which again, if you've just seen the drip marketing that has come out, obviously is not EOS, but also another factor was that content creation is dying. If you take one look at Wuthering Waves' Twitch, you know, it's at 788 viewers, which isn't great. Now, bear in mind that this is a pretty slow kind of time for Wuthering Waves in Twitch and just, you know, for Twitch in general. So this is going to be lower. I reckon it'll be around in the 1000s or so, you know, at peak times. But again, it's still not great, and I think Wuthering Waves do need to improve on the Twitch category overall. But it doesn't mean that the content creation, you know, sphere is dead. And I think that's the case for a lot of other gacha games as well. Because I don't think that, you know, games are falling off or anything. I think people just have more options. Because if I go over to the gacha revenue chart here, now I'm not using this for revenue. I'm just using this to show you how many games are out at the moment. Bro, there is so many gacha games out at the moment which you could make content on. Now, obviously some have a better pool in terms of content creation in general. There's so many kind of gacha games out at the moment and so many new ones come out. For example, Neverness to Everness, Asia Camellya, Project Mugen. There are so many other ones which, you know, I can't even name them all because, you know, there are so many that people are going to start making content on, which is going to split up the gacha community even more. And people think that the overall content space and the overall kind of gacha content space is dying just because some, you know, games are getting less viewers, when in actual fact it's because the kind of content is spreading out. The audience is spreading out to these different games because there's more options, which means, you know, it's going to look like there's less viewers, when in fact it's probably stronger than ever. And I think that a lot of these new games do prove that gacha games are becoming more popular. And yeah, it's just overall just a splitting of the community, which I think people don't really understand. And obviously it does make Wuthering Waves look bad whenever people say that, you know, the game's dying and stuff because there's less of an audience. And it's just mainly due to the amount of options that we have, which honestly, in my opinion, is great. Now, obviously, it's not so great for content creators because, you know, they can't just pump out a Genshin Impact video and it get millions of views because it's like the only game they can play. But it also gives a lot of people more options, a lot of people, you know, more options to watch things and also create content on. And finally, Wuthering Waves, I think, do understand the kind of importance of content creators at the moment with their content creator programs. I think these ones are much better than the Hoyoverse ones because Hoyoverse kind of limit it to certain content creators, whereas this one, it seems like anyone can get involved and you get a ton of like rewards and stuff. Obviously, you get some asteroid and also some cash prizes, including $800 if you make a long or short video and it does good and that, you know, you're at the top of the kind of category there. But again, it seems like they are trying to support and trying to encourage creators to make more content on Wuthering Waves. So hopefully we do see more people making content on Wuthering Waves. Obviously, I made a few videos in the past about like some different things that they could do. I think with the growth of all of these new gacha games as well, I think we're going to see more content creators coming into the space. And I think podcasts like this and bringing on some smaller creators as well does really help and does really help to bring them up. And I hope that, you know, Cap does more of these, or that, you know, maybe we could do some more of these. I don't really know. I think she's got some other stuff planned for it as well, which again is going to boost these content creators and just kind of make the space a lot more better. So overall, asking the question, is Wuthering Waves or gacha content creation dying? It isn't. Let's be real here. I think it's just kind of a split of community, and that a lot of people have been getting very angry over the kind of black and whiteness of Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact and all of these other games as well, and people saying, hey, you're a Hoyo shell or you're a Kuro shell, when at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And I hope that a lot of you guys can understand that it really doesn't matter whether you play Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves. You're still a content creator trying to get that bag, trying to, you know, build your audience, which I think is great. And honestly, I think it's just good for the gacha community overall, no matter what game you're playing. And as I said, there is a lot of room for improvement. I'm not saying that the gacha space is absolutely perfect, but, you know, Wuthering Waves, for example, has 700 views on Twitch, which I said earlier, which can be improved. And I don't really know how Wuthering Waves can improve that. It's just more down to the creators finding a little bit more interest. Now, obviously, I've been streaming a lot more of Wuthering Waves as well. Maybe you guys have thought about streaming Wuthering Waves as well, because again, it is a very good way to get started. I think that Wuthering Waves, if they do release some more kind of incentives, it could kind of boost up the numbers for them. So hopefully we do see a kind of improvement in that in the future, and also improvements in other content creation stuff as well. But I just kind of wanted to talk about this because it was a big issue and it was just something on my mind, especially coming fresh out of that podcast where we do talk a little bit about content creation as well. It's just very interesting. And yeah, just let me know down in the comments if you guys have had any experiences with people like this, you know, being like, which side are you on and stuff like that. And just let me know what you think about the overall state of the gacha content creation scene at the moment. But yeah, that's what I got for this video. If you did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go to my Twitch where I'm going to be live. I definitely recommend going over there. It'll be down in the link below or down in the pinned comment as well. So yeah, I definitely recommend going over there. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.